Well, I want to enjoy today, and the most important thing for me right now is representing the national team, because it's a huge source of pride, being able to play tomorrow. Having another opportunity to play tomorrow, and I still don't know if I'll play, so I don't know if I'll play tomorrow, much less if I'll play away from Manchester or not in a year. Oh, but it's not something that worries me. I'm happy where I am. Well, otherwise, I wouldn't have stayed, but it's something that, honestly, doesn't really bother me. Bruno.
Good afternoon. Nuno lose from sick. Let's talk a little about this game. You had more than usual to prepare for this game. Well, I saw that. In fact, the responsibility placed on the field in Eraven made a difficult game easy, because Ireland went there and ended up losing. Well, apparently this Irish team isn't in the best shape, but I believe the national team, will approach the game with enormous responsibility.
No, obviously, the result they got isn't the most important thing for tomorrow's game, because it's a completely different game against a different team, which they'll end up facing, which is ours. We know the dangers they can pose to us. We know they're a very intense team, very strong in second balls, that they play very direct football. Set pieces are also one of their strongest points. Knowing all this and trying to neutralize all of Ireland's strongest points, our goal is to keep possession of the ball, be patient, and know how to find the right spaces at the right times, because we know that defensively they're very organized, a team with very, very strong physical power. We have to do our best to find the goals, which is what we want.
Good afternoon, Bruno Mendes from Bola. The team is going through a great moment right now, having even won the Nations League. I wonder at this stage if Bruno has been here for a few years, if there's extra pressure, and even greater responsibility for having reinforced that status with winning the Nations League. Because the rhetoric has changed a bit, they're candidates, they really want to win this World Cup. If so, if this change in rhetoric is also a sign of this new national team.
No, obviously, I think. The national team always plays to win. Since I arrived here, that's always been the objective, regardless of the coach being different now. Well, since I was here, the objective has always been to win, and I won the first Nations League under a different coach. So I think it never crossed our minds that we wouldn't win. And regardless of knowing that we have other very strong teams when it comes to who we're going to face, but our objective is to win every game we're in, regardless of the competition or whatever. The World Cup is a big dream, not just for us, but for all Portuguese people. Well, I've had this dream since I was little, watching others play, and I've always been one of those trying to push for the national team so that it could happen. Well, and that dream will always be there to try to achieve, like all the other dreams anyone can have. So, for us, well, I don't think there's any greater pressure now, because representing Portugal isn't any pressure at all, it's a privilege, because not everyone has that opportunity. And we have to understand that, besides being privileged to be here representing the national team, well, with that comes a great responsibility of representing our country.
Bruno, Rita Silva Vieira for TSF back here. Ireland's goalkeeper, Kelleher, he saved a penalty of yours a little while ago in the match against Brantford. Tomorrow is a good day to settle scores. Every day is a good day to settle scores, but obviously, he was stronger than me at that moment. He did very well, and in my opinion, I did very poorly. Yeah, but it's not something that really affects my mind, because my goal tomorrow, if I'm chosen to play for Misr, isn't to score a goal, but to win the game. Because here, in a football match and in a football team, there's something bigger than individuality, which is what represents our group. And I think winning and getting closer to the World Cup is much more important to me than settling scores with the Irish goalkeeper. Hello, Bruno Fernandes here, Luis Garopa from Lusa. I'm asking you about everything you've been through at Manchester United. It hasn't been easy at all. The season didn't start the way they wanted, last season was also difficult. What I ask you is, whenever you come to the national team, does this help you decompress a little, escape the pressure you've been facing in England?
No, it doesn't. They're different things. Obviously, being on the national team is like being at home. It's being with our people, speaking Portuguese, eating Portuguese food, all of that makes. Me feel very good here. The sun also helps a lot. Oh, but I feel very good in Manchester. I love the pressure I have there. Oh, I think it's something I have to be happy about having such great pressure as you have there, because it means the goal is bigger than what we've achieved. And I'm a person who enjoys challenges, and those challenges are good for making me grow as a player, as a person, and for me to continue learning.
Andrea
Sophia Matos here for Channel 11 Live. Bruno didn't win the 2016 European Championship because he debuted the following year, but he already has 2 Nations League titles under his belt. I asked him if now, especially since he's also one of the undisputed national team coach, this group is truly made of family, of that unity they've talked so much about, and if that puts you closer to winning a World Cup.
No, this unity we're talking about goes a bit against what you just said. There are no undisputed players in this team. Regardless, there are always players who play more than others, which is normal both in the national team and at clubs. But the fact that we all feel undisputed is something that is very important for this team, and that makes training very competitive, of a very high level, and that makes us increasingly prepared to face any type of opponent. The unity we have in this group, I think everyone has already talked about it. It's a very healthy unity, not only on the field, but also off the field, with the games we play among ourselves and all the time we spend together. Because we spend a lot of time idle here, we end up being together, not each in their own room. We try to do things that help the group grow. And it was something that Mur also asked us in one of the meetings. He said, well, the important thing is that you leave here feeling like you've added something to the group, and there's nothing more important to us than that when we come to these training camps. Well, whether in games or outside of them, we have to add something positive to the
group. Hey, good afternoon, Bruno. Ricardo Gavea from Maze Football. Well, going back to penalties, Bruno scores a lot, most of them successfully, but this season he's missed a few. What's going on? Are the goalkeepers studying Bruno's technique? What's changed?
No, quite honestly, the 2 I missed aren't what you'd call my usual technique, so to speak. It's something I have to study better. Well, I usually do. I like to watch the goalkeepers and see everything they do right before the game with one of the goalkeeping coaches to try to help me, give me some tips on what might be more difficult for that type of goalkeeper. Or not. Unfortunately, for me, it's not that this year the goalkeepers were very, very good, because only one of them made a save. I ended up sending the ball to the other where I shouldn't have, but these are moments that depend on me, and unfortunately, this season 1 had 2 moments where I wasn't at my best. But whenever I'm chosen and have the opportunity to take a penalty, I will always do so with the full conviction that I'm capable of executing it to the best of my ability, because behind this, there's also a coach who believes in me and wants me to get the best goalkeeper. And obviously, this is something I will continue to work and train to become even better, because it was something I was very successful at. But, unfortunately, this season, out of 3 in the league, I ended up missing 2. I had 2 in the cup in the same game I also scored, but I don't want to miss any, so we have to work and improve on that.
Good afternoon, Bruno. It's Nuno Mendes Santana, the UEFA president.
Wait, that's where I don't see it. Excuse me. Hello. UEFA President Alexander Jefferin, and recently here at the Football Summit, he had the opportunity to say, he could have talked about Lamiola or Dembele or Vitinha, I don't know. Well, no, for him, the best player right now is Nuno Mendes. I wanted to ask him if he also shares that opinion and if he regrets the fact that he didn't get caught at Sporting anymore, right? I would have liked to have played with him at Sporting.
No, I got caught at Sporting. Nuno, in his first preseason, he was with me back in Switzerland, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I already know Nuno. I haven't known Nuno for many years. He was always a very shy kid, but at the same time, misguided. I think Nuno is on everyone's lips for one reason only, and that's his quality. He is, without a doubt, one of the best players in the world. Whether he is the best or not, it's not for me to decide. Well, if it were up to me to decide, every year it would be a Portuguese player, that's for sure, but unfortunately it's not up to me to decide. We have many high-level players, and we're talking about names here. Obviously, I think the Paris Saint-Germain players are the talk of the town, obviously, for the great season they had collectively and individually, which is normal. Unfortunately for us, none of them managed to take the title of best player in the world, but the fact that they're there and among the best is a source of enormous pride, not only for them, but also for all of us Portuguese, because it's a sign that what they've been doing, is dignifying our country at the highest level, and that's something to be commended for, because they're players of an extremely high level. Bruno here, TNT Esports Brazil, Artur Quisada. I don't know if you saw a recent interview, a chat between Steven Gerrard and Rio Ferdinand talking about the England generation in the early 2000s with them, right? With Lampard, with Rooney, anyway. And Ger said he felt really bad about going to the national team, right? About the atmosphere within the team. He said they were even, quote, selfish, losers, and that's why that generation didn't work out. Today, Portugal it didn't work out in terms of titles, right? It worked out. Today, Portugal has stars, as you said, players, right, from Paris Saint-Germain and many others. So, do you believe that the environment can be more important or can be the key? For example, in the World Cup, it's more than just the individualities? Do you think that's the way forward?
No, obviously I think that having a healthy and positive environment is always better than not having that environment. Oh, now if that alone is enough to win, no, because I believe that many teams have an excellent environment and end up not being able to win either. So, I think you have to combine a little bit of everything. So, the most important thing in the national team space is to put in the side, because here we all play for big clubs. Here, almost all of us are starters for our clubs. We all want to play, yes. We all get upset when we don't play. Yes, but we have to turn that into something positive that can add something to the team, especially during that 2-hour period before and during the game. Yes, has to disappear because there's a greater good, which is the group, and that must always be above all in the minds of any of the players in this space. I don't know, I wasn't in that England team to know what the atmosphere was like, whether it was good or not, but here the atmosphere is very good. The quality is very high. We have to bring all of this together so that the results continue to come. Good afternoon, Bruno. Diogo Ribeiro, goal in the net. At Manchester United, this season you've been playing in somewhat more withdrawn roles, often more in midfield than in attacking midfield. I ask you how you've been adapting to these new roles, what's it like to see the game from the front much more often in more defensive positions? And to what extent can these new roles translate to the national team and improve your performance for Portugal as well? Well, I like playing football, regardless of the position. I like playing football. You can play as a fullback, a winger, or a goalkeeper. I'll make the most of my qualities and abilities in each position. Well, obviously everyone has their favorite positions. But in a position where there's so much quality, whether in the national team or at your club, you have to adapt to the coach's idea, whether you like it or not. Well, it's a position I already played with Mr. Jorge Jesus at Sporting. I often played alongside William Carvalho or Batalla when we faced teams with a lower block, trying to have more offensive players. Well, obviously, my game ends up being different when you see the game differently. You have more time to think, you have more space, you can find spaces where you're under less pressure. The risk is lower because you rarely have to take such a big risk in that position. Well, when I play at number 10, my goal is to create plays, to create opportunities, to create space, to find space, to finish, to try crosses. Well, everything changes depending on the team you play with, the players you have with you, and I adapt to the collective game, not my own game, because, as I said earlier, the most important thing for me, whether here or at Manchester United, is that we both win and achieve positive results. Well, I want to play as well as possible. I want to have the best possible exports, but if I have to be less influential in the game, it's a collective one, but doing better collectively with the results is the most important thing for me.
Last question in Portuguese. Good afternoon, Bruno Francisco Guerra for Record Newspaper. Picking up on the question my colleague asked earlier about winning the Nations League and the status of the Portuguese national team. Now, I ask you, there's been a lot of talk about the dream of winning the World Cup for the first time and that Portugal will be one of the favorites to win it. Coach Roberto Martinez himself said here at the summit that there's this dream of winning the World Cup, although qualification isn't guaranteed yet. I'm asking you if you share that opinion, if that dream really exists, and if you guys in the dressing room have also talked about it in any way. Thank you. Our first objective dream is to win tomorrow. The second is to qualify for the World Cup, and obviously, the third, after we're there, is to dream about that World Cup, because I don't think any team will go to that World Cup thinking that they won't win the game they're in, because everyone goes into every game to win. Well, in a World Cup, in such a short tournament, you know that sometimes even with a few victories you can reach a final. Well, our dream is there, not just ours, but also that of all the Portuguese, because, like me, I said a little while ago, I dreamed about this since I was very little, and it wasn't me playing the role of the player, it was the others. And I dreamed with them, I wanted them to win, I wanted Portugal to reach the top of the world, and so I will continue to dream until that goal is achieved, whether now or later.
Now open to questions in English.
Hello, Bruno. Ismail Mahmoud from Win All Sports. I want to ask you about Joao Felix. He's doing great in Saudi Arabia League. How do you evaluate his start in Saudi Arabia League and his success and with Cristiano Ronaldo? Is that will encourage Portuguese players to come to Saudi Arabia? And some reports claimed that you closed Saudi Arabia doors because of World Cup. So is that true?
In Portuguese or English? English. No, obviously, João is a top player. Obviously, we know that he struggled a bit in the last few years to find his place, to have the chance to show his levels. But we are very happy to have him here because we know how much he can offer to the team. We know how much quality he has. He's showing that now. He's more confident. We could see that in the last 2 games for the national team. Also, he was brilliant for us. I didn't close the door to the move to Saudi because of the World Cup. That was never in my mind. I just wanted to stay at the club. The club wanted me to stay, and that was all.
Hi, Bruno. I'm just wondering, you've played against...
Can you identify yourself, please?
Sorry, Paul Nealon, Irish Football Fan TV.
He was aggressive, huh?
I was just going to ask you, you've come across some of these Irish players in the Premier League, Nathan Collins, Caoimhín Kelleher, Seamus Coleman, Jacob Ryan and so on. What threat do you think they can pose for Portugal tomorrow?
No, obviously I know many of them. Defensively, they are very, very strong. Physically also, it's a team that is very direct. We need to be very aware of winning our duels and also of the second balls because they are very good in that to then get that chance to create something from that. We know that set pieces is one big part of their game. We are very aware of the qualities of their players, but obviously we need to try to not give as much space for them to do that. And at the same time, we need to play our game and try to command the game.
Andy Waters, Irish News. Bruno, given the pressure that's on Manchester United week in, week out, do you look forward to these national trips to play for Portugal?
No, I always look up for the chance to play for my national team. Obviously, it's a privilege for me and a dream to be here every time I have the chance to. But the pressure is the same because for me the pressure is always on. I don't change my type or my mind playing for country or club, and we still have to win games here too. So it's the same as at club. I have to win, so the pressure will be always there.
I will now thank Bruno Fernandes for his presence and I will excuse him because he has to go train, which is also quite important. Thank you, Bruno.